What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, actually, over on my live streams, which I do every single day over on Twitch, if you guys want to check that out, make sure you go to the link in the description. These past couple of streams I've been starting a little bit later because I have a lot of in-real-life stuff I have to do. But just know the usual time that I start up streams is around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. But over on stream, I had a community challenge for you guys to dish out a certain amount of points. And when we reached that goal, I would go ahead and purchase Battlefield Hardline, try it out on stream, see if it's still populated, and give it a go. And I gotta say, this was probably one of the best purchases I've made in a very long time. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I was a tad bit nervous to go ahead and purchase Battlefield Hardline. Even though I do have some pretty decent memories of this game, because there's so much negativity floating around the Battlefield community revolving around Battlefield Hardline, I feel like my mindset was just changed. It was changed drastically to just think that this game was bullcrap, it was garbage, it was a bad game, because that's what everybody thinks of. It's either this game is awful or nobody even knows what Battlefield Hardline is. But in my personal opinion, I feel like Battlefield Hardline is probably one of the most underappreciated and underrated Battlefield games ever designed. Now, to be honest, I really do think that this game gets all the hate because it didn't follow in the typical Battlefield pattern. As you guys know, just by simply the name, quote-unquote, Battlefield, the game is supposed to be about official warfare between different countries, not really cops and crooks. So when a lot of people saw this title pop up, and they saw cops and robbers in a Battlefield game, the two things didn't really sit well with each other, and a lot of Battlefield fans jumped ship on this exact title. And I do want to say, I completely understand where those specific Battlefield fans are coming from, why they didn't enjoy Battlefield Hardline. You know, a lot of things about Battlefield Hardline were drastically different compared to any other Battlefield game strictly because it was cops versus crooks. Just think about the gameplay, the vehicle gameplay in this title. There's pretty much nothing you could do. All the vehicles are pretty much able to be taken out by any ordinary infantry weapon. And also, helicopters and air vehicles have complete reign of terror over the whole maps because nobody or any class in this game is not allowed to spawn in with a legitimate rocket launcher. The only way you can get a rocket launcher is if you have a specific class and you hop into a car. If you're not in a car, you don't get the rocket launcher. You have to be in the car because the rocket is in the trunk of the car. Or you find rockets as, ground pickups, like you do in Battlefield 4 with other rockets or sniper rifles, stuff like that. They have ground loot rockets. But anything else, you can't shoot down air vehicles, so helicopters are able to just completely wipe clean infantry, and they can do nothing about it. There are certain things that I do understand why people hate, and I do agree. I feel like Battlefield Hardline should have not been a full-price Battlefield game. If anything, it should have been DLC on top of Battlefield 4. They should have kept continuing on to the Battlefield 4 foundation, and then added in a quote-unquote cops and crooks style DLC game that they could put on the side, and they could sell it through there. Battlefield Hardline, maybe I could see it for $30-40 when it first launched, but a full $6 title, again, I just couldn't see a lot of Battlefield fans chomping down on this game. But besides the statements that I just gave to you guys, I gotta say, everything else about this game I really truly do enjoy. And I've actually been playing Battlefield Hardline more than Battlefield 4 recently. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying that Battlefield Hardline is better than Battlefield 4. It's not. Battlefield 4 is just a goated game. I don't think anything can honestly top that game. But when it comes to the fun factor, especially coming as a Call of Duty fan, I love infantry gameplay. I love infantry gameplay over anything else in Battlefield. Battlefield Hardline is the go-to game when it comes to that. Like I just told you guys, vehicle gameplay is pretty much non-existent when it comes to Battlefield Hardline. Shoot, even the attack choppers in this game don't even have a good minigun to start off with. I don't even want to grind to unlock a minigun on my attack chopper because the base version is so bad. They really did try to emphasize on infantry gameplay, because that's what you would be seeing most of the time. If you go and see, an actual all-out fight between a bunch of crooks and cops, you're not going to see a bunch of, crooks rolling up with tanks or anything like that, Maybe they'll show up in a helicopter if they have a lot of money like that, or else they're just going to be running around in SUVs or, fast race cars and stuff like that trying to get away from the cops. So because of that and the fact that the developers had to make sure that the atmosphere of this game stayed intact, they couldn't put a bunch of ridiculous vehicles into the game, which means infantry gameplay really shined here. So no matter what, I have to give this to Battlefield Hardline. A lot of other Battlefield games, that's what a lot of people complain about, especially people who are trying to learn Battlefield, is that it's too much to take in, there's too much going on, too many vehicles and stuff like that. Battlefield Hardline really was able to show off the actual gunplay of a Battlefield game and prove that it's far superior than a lot of other FPS titles because they emphasized on making sure infantry gameplay was solid in this game. And besides the infantry gameplay, just the atmosphere alone is just phenomenal. Between the voice cues of the criminals, they're hilarious, and just the overall gameplay and the brand new game modes that they added into Hardline to fit the cops and crooks type of theme, it was phenomenal. Again, not your typical Battlefield experience, which is why I feel like this game would have been 10 times better if they went ahead and just introduced this as DLC instead of an official $60 game. But at the end of the day, for what it was unique, interesting, and like I said, it really put you in the shoes of cops and crooks in the actual situation. Now, it was a little goofy, I will admit. A lot of like the quotes and the sayings and some things that go on the game are goofy, but at the end of the day, it's Battlefield. Yes, more than likely, you won't see like 50 cop cars with like 1,000 crook cars driving down the street chasing one another with crooks and helicopters with miniguns shooting down on cops. You more than likely won't see that. That's like something out of the movies or something of that sort. But you have to understand it's Battlefield. And at the end of the day, they had to go ahead and still allow us to still have the same Battlefield moments and to have the fun factor that the game gives. If they just allowed 2 crooks and then 50 cops on the enemy team, where's the fun in that? The crooks are just going to get stomped all the time. So yes, it had to follow the typical Battlefield formula, 32 players versus 32. They made it work. They made it work. That's all I got to say. For a game that's revolved around cops and crooks, they really did make it work. And also, the map designs, talking about the atmosphere of this game and between the voice lines and like all the stuff I just said, the actual map designs that they added into this game are phenomenal. Between downtown areas, tiny little neighborhoods, a freaking underground weed house, like there's so many things that are so badass in this game, which once again revolve around the cops and crooks theme. I don't think there's any other game out there where you can be put into a middle of a little neighborhood, a neighborhood that you might even live in, like in this gameplay right here, where you are just busting through walls as crooks chasing down the money and stuff like that, and you have cops everywhere and cop cars, sirens popping off. The atmosphere of the game is phenomenal. It's unmatched. You could have gunfights at a bank, massive wars outside of a drug lord's mansion. It's just, oh my god. Honestly, again, I know it's on the goofier side, but they were still able to nail the experience. And that's another thing I have to say. Battlefield, or I guess I should say Battlefield, I should just say EA DICE specifically. The one thing that I love the most about them is they have balls. They have the nerve to make games that are just so out there that nobody would ever think of them doing. But they do it, and they're always successful. Even though people didn't really care for Battlefield Hardline, they still did it, and it was a good game. Same thing with Battlefield 1. Who thought they would make a World War I shooter? Who thought a World War I shooter was ever going to be made into an arcadey game? Nobody. But here we go with Battlefield 1, and they nailed it. They're always stepping outside of the box compared to their competitors, such as Call of Duty, for example, who literally go on the same pathways every single time they make games. I mean, we could pretty much predict the rest of the games coming in the future. I mean, the next Call of Duty game is already rumored to be Black Ops 2, which is so obvious because it's the same thing as the old school pattern. We had Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, which was near futuristic, and then Black Ops 3 jetpacks. Before that, for Infinity Ward, it was Call of Duty 4, which was modern day, Modern Warfare 2, which is modern day, Modern Warfare 3, which is modern day. We already have Modern Warfare 2019. I guarantee the next Infinity Ward title is going to be modern day. We also saw that Treyarch's game was Black Ops Cold War, which was supposed to be like Black Ops 1, and now it's rumored and leaked that the next game is going to be like Black Ops 2, a near futuristic game. They make it too obvious. They just keep copying and pasting the same ideas, the same wars, the same scenarios. Like, come on now. Who thought a cops and crooks game would come to Battlefield? Nobody. It shocked everybody. Which is why it wasn't even that popular. It was so out there, so unthinkable, that nobody was okay with going ahead and purchasing this game because they just didn't think it was right. It wasn't an official Battlefield game. But despite the popularity, this game was still creative enough that it allowed for a different and unique experience for Battlefield fans. So even 10 plus years down the road from now, people can still look back and say, look, they still made a cops and crooks Battlefield game. Wouldn't that be crazy to try out? With all honesty, I would not even be mad if they made a second Hardline 2. But they would have to definitely upgrade a lot of things to make it worth $60 in my personal opinion. Even just make it DLC. I don't even care if they make a DLC for a different game down the road. For Battlefield 2042, make a Hardline 2 expansion pack. I don't care. It would just be really cool to see this take because I like cops and crooks. I think it's a good scenario, a good style of game, and it fits Battlefield. It actually fits it pretty nicely. to be exact. Even though, in order to make Cops and Crooks fit the Battlefield gameplay more, it has to be a little bit more goofier compared to more realistic when it comes to Cops and Crooks. I still don't mind. I think it's a fun, unique take on Battlefield. It was a fantastic game, and if you guys have not tried out Battlefield Hardline, I suggest doing so. I actually heard that Battlefield Hardline got a pretty decent surge when it came to PlayStation players. I don't know about Xbox just yet, but for PC, there's about 3 playable servers, so if you do want to try it out, you will 110% be able to play. Connection might vary, so you might not have good ping. For me personally, I play on NA servers, so Eastern servers to be exact, so it's really bad connection for me personally. So if you're around the same area, you might have bad connection, but I think it's still worth it to give it a shot. But guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have a Twitter and Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And last but not least, if you want to catch me live streams on video games, I do that over on Twitch. Link to that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.